Hi guys. So today we are going to look into the visual system as an example about the cranial sensory nervous system. So we talked about overview of this sensory nervous system, and we start by talking about the somatic sensory nervous system. So that's the sensory from our skin. uh, there are different type of these mechanoreceptors send a signal back to the somatic sensory cortex right next to the central sulcus in the parietal cortex in the brain. And in addition to that, we also have several other sensory systems. And as I mentioned before, visual system is the one that's probably the largest area of the entire sensory cortex. I like to do this one given that we have only limited of time to talk about the sensory nervous system. So I will use this one to exaggerate this system as an example of uh, the sensory system in the go through this cranial nervous system. All right. So this is the visual system, and we will talk in two portions. One is in the eye. We will talk about this organ. This is unique in a way that several sensory systems can be considered not just the sensory receptor, but could be acting together as an organ. But none of those are as complicated as the eye. So, for example, earlier we talked about this somatic sensory system, the sensory receptor. They basically just entering into the spinal cord and directly pass through the spinal cord to the brain. There is no organ in terms of that system, right? There's no organ of that receptor. It's just simple receptor. When we talk about the hearing, you probably learned this in your uh, earlier undergrad school, undergrad course that uh, auditory nervous system is conducted by the hair cell. There are some like a modulator in the ear to convert the wave of the sound into the electric system. But comparing to the eye, it will be not as complicated as the eye. So this is very interesting portion that uh, I think you can learn a lot from your undergrad to learn about other sensory cranial sensory nervous system. But I think if we are talking about the sensory system in depth, the eye is the region that's carry a lot of complicated information. So I would like to, uh, you know, present this to you so you have this gain some appreciation about how our eye are created in a way that can do this amazing job for us. All right. I did not mention about this one earlier, but before our general physiology that we use the textbook, um, we use uh, the textbook that's the one that's covering the physiology portion. That's the same book that we use in the medical school. And for the nervous system, in addition to that physiology book, I also use these two textbooks to kind of providing us more uh, around information to make this concept um, uh, straightforward and easy to understand. So these are the two textbooks that I also use. I think this one. I don't think this. Yeah. So if you need, you can look it up, and if you need a copy or something, let me know. I can provide you a copy. I can provide you a PDF, not a copy of a book. Okay. So because uh, I have a, I think I have the digital version anyway. All right. So that's that. Um, Now let's start by talking about the eye. So this is the eye. And what do we really need to know about this eye? Uh, these eyes are, this eye is the organ that take the visual system. So if we look into this eye, the first thing you will see is, if you look into each eye, take a mirror, look into it. Um, this is the pupil. That's the first thing you will see. If you put the contact lens, that's the that's the place that you will put the contact lens. And the cornea. So this is pupil. This is cornea, and the light will pass through this cornea, but blocked by this pupil. Pupil control how much light can go through, and light goes through this pupil and go through lens, go through vitreous body, project into the retina. In the back of the eye, we have the nerve, the sensory photoreceptor, retina ganglia cells. All these nerves are located in the retina. So retina is the neuronal layer of the eye. Underneath this retina, we have the choroid. Choroid is the layer that provides the blood supply. So this blood supply is provided by the posterior ciliary artery. And then underneath that, we have the choroid, sclera right here, sclera. So sclera, if we extend it, we can see that sclera is up to here. In around this region, canal of Lemma is the region sclera will meet with the cornea. So here is transition from sclera. This is not transparent to cornea that's transparent. So if you look into your eye, this white portion is the sclera. And under that window, this cornea, you see a color portion. Like, I'm Asian, so this portion would be around like a dark brown or black. So that is the iris. Iris, and then this is cornea. This part is the transparent cornea, sorry, iris, then the sclera. This part is the transparent cornea. All right, so this is the sclera. The sclera, in a sense, that is the extension from the dura mater. So dura mater is, you guys did the anatomy before, so you dissect the brain already, right? So you probably have like vivid mini imaging about the dura mater when you open up the skull and see it. And so that is the same dura mater. If you want to see dura mater in a live person, just look into the eye. So you see that dura mater extended into the sclera, and right here, this is the white portion of the eye, right? When you see in the eye. And then we have this portion, right? So we basically talk about everything here already. This is iris. Iris is the one that's provide the color of your eye. The function of this iris is that to control the pupil range. So the iris has two type of muscle. One is the dilation muscle. So when this muscle contract, this pupil will dilate it. dilated. Another is the sphincter muscle of the iris. So this is the circular type of the muscle, very much like our vessel, smooth muscle in the vessel. When they contract, it causes vasoconstriction. So this one, when it contract, it will make the pupil contract. So we have these two. Can you intentionally control your pupil size? You can't, right? So we know that these muscles, there are three types of muscle: smooth muscle, skeletal muscle, cardiomyocyte. And since this is not in the heart, so this is not the cardiomyocyte. So this is either a smooth muscle or a skeletal muscle, because we cannot control it. It's not something that you can control your pupil size. So this is controlled by the autonomic nervous system, and this is smooth muscle. All right. So these are smooth muscle controlled by the autonomic nervous system, and uh, autonomic nervous system has the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So basically, this is controlled by those two branches. In the sympathetic, we will make pupil open so we can see more clear, get more light to it. If it's parasympathetic during the digesting and resting, this pupil will contract. So it's triggered this one to cause pupil contraction. So that's that. So that's pupil. So we basically have everything already. This lens is holding by these zonule fibers. This is very much like tendon. So tendon connect with muscle, right? So you learn these muscle anatomy. You know that already. And so the muscle connect with this tendon is the ciliary body. Here we have several smooth muscle again to control it, because we don't control the, if it's pulling, it will make the lens become thinner. If it's pushing, right, not relaxing, it will make the lens become thicker. And by changing the thinness or thickness of the lens, we can adjust these refractory indexes to make the imaging project into the retina. So that's that. What else? Here we have the anterior chamber, posterior chamber. We will spend some time talk about this one here. Cornea, and also you like muscle, I like muscle too. So here is another muscle. This is muscle lateral medial. This is the muscle called the rectus muscle, and this muscle control the eye movement. Can you voluntarily control the eye movement? Of course, right? So this is a muscle that under your voluntary control, and this is a muscle part of the skeletal muscle. All right. So this is a skeletal muscle controlled by your intention. In the eye movement, we have 6 muscle. For each eye, we have the eye to turn upside, up, down, left, right. We also have the muscle to turn it clockwise, counterclockwise. So we have 6 muscle to control the eye movement. All right, so that's that. All right, so that's probably everything we need to know. Here are some blood supply. Just you need to know that to neutralize the retina, we have 2 branches of the blood supply. One blood supply is from the central retina artery, come with the central retina veins. This one go into these layer. So they kind of overlay the retina layer. And the other one is underneath. So retina itself doesn't have the blood supply to blood vessel to go through. Later we'll learn that retina has several layers. but there's no vessel to go through it. Vessel either go over on the top of it or underneath it. The blood underneath it is the posterior ciliary artery and the posterior ciliary vein. So that's that. And the muscle, we talk about that. So we have everything kind of like explained it. So let's start by the first one. When light go into the eye, the first thing the light will encounter is the cornea. So let's look at the cornea. So this is, we are not going to spend like a whole chapter talking about the cornea, even though we can. We just mention something quite interesting, important. So you have the idea what the cornea is about. Yeah, we deal with cornea almost every day, right? Because especially for those who need to put the contact lens on cornea. So cornea is a transparent. However, cornea is not bad. Okay, sometimes we may think this transparent, like our nail, is kind of like semi-transparent. Uh, but cornea is not like that. Cornea actually contains layers of cells. So here you can see that this is the layer of cells. Epithelium cells, several layers, and then stroma, and here is endothelium. So this one called endothelium is not, it's not supposed to be endothelium, but there's a history with it. This is supposed to be a part of uh, epi, sorry, epithelium, because endothelium is the one that's the one that we mention when it's in the vessel, right? So, but since it's traditionally called endothelium and it just carried the name down here. All right, so that is the cornea. So the first thing you need to know is that cornea has live cells. Cornea is transparent, even though there are live cells. So it's very interesting that there are several study, several research to see how to explain it. Why there are cells, but it's transparent. It could be the way that cells are organized. So even though light got reflected through, but eventually get through, and we then just feel it's transparent. It could be like that. All right, so it's transparent. Light is cornea is also very important uh, pieces of cornea. It's also very important portion to conduct light reflection. All right, so we already know that the lens is one to refract light. So light will be bended right here. Light will be bended, right? And so have a good projection into the retina. However, when light goes through, it's not just going through the lens, it goes through the cornea first. And here is a vitreous, the uh, aquea humor. So this is liquid too. So light will get through this one first, go through this one first, and get banded, and go through the lens, get banded again. Um, the majority of this bending occur in the cornea. So it's right here. So this is parallel light, meaning that the vision is far away. So the light is parallel, uh, sent into the cornea, and the gap banded in the cornea first. Cornea provide the largest bending, largest refraction of the light. It will get bended again in the lens, but the lens only provide a small portion. Lens basically is one to do the fine adjustment of this refractory. So it will make the projection to be focused. However, the major refractory occur in the cornea. So that's that. Another thing you need to know is that because it's transparent, there is no blood vessel in the cornea. If there's blood vessel, you will see the red blood cells. It will not be transparent. It will appear red, right? And because there's no blood vessel, there will be no immune cells, no antibodies circulating around. So this is a region very easier to conduct an organ transplant. So because there will be less rejection to it, our immune system won't tell if it's from a foreign object or not. So that's that. Uh, this is also the region that if we need to correct our refractory diseases, we can we can conduct surgery. So there are several like LASIK surgery, the one that used to correct our uh, myopia, for example, is one to conduct a surgery to it. So we can change the refractory power, and so that can ameliorate the condition of these refractory disorders. So that's that. Also, another thing very important to the to be related to the sensory is that cornea also contains lots of the free nerve ending, the nociceptors. I think we kind of mentioned about it, right? The nociceptor occur in all skins, including the cornea. If not, I mentioned here, okay? So nociceptor is free renal ending cover the whole skin, and including the cornea. One reason is that this nociceptor, the pen, exists in our body for a reason. They provide this protective mechanism to protect our body, right? And what's more important than our eye? Uh, it's so precious to keep our eye. We only have two eyes, right? So there are a lot of nociceptors. The density is pretty high. So if there's any irritation to the cornea, you will feel very painful. Cornea is also important to induce reflex, to induce a blink. If there is object there, it will trigger the blinking, and also tearing production. So that's that. All right, so that's the cornea. What else we need to know? What we really need to know here is that another thing we need to know here is that cornea, because cornea doesn't have the blood supply, then the question is, how do we neutralize the cornea? Right, cornea is right here. If there is no blood supply, then how do we provide its oxygen? Because here we have a lot of living live cells need to get neutralized. So the way our body does it is that uh, they don't provide the red red blood cells or the blood vessels go through, but they secrete from here in the ciliary body. It secrete the fluid, and this fluid continuously flowing through this area, and the fluid will provide the oxygen reached and the nutrients reached fluid here, and these will get diffused into the cornea. So cornea can get oxygenized and also nutrition from this fluid. And then this fluid will flow back into the blood circulation. They will flow back to the canal of sclem, and this one will eventually flow into uh, the episclera, veins and then go into the circulation, go back to the heart, go back to the lung. So that's that. What you need to know about, so this fluid is called the aqueous humor. So what you need to know is that the production, the circulation of these aqueous humor. Production is produced by the ciliary body. The circulation is circulate through the posterior chamber, through the pupil, to the anterior chamber, back to the canal of Schlemm, and back to the uh, episclera veins. So that's this circulation. All right, so you know that this fluid, even though it may appear very small, like nothing, right? It's like, why do we, it's like small fluid right here in our eye, and it's not just entire eye, it's just in the anterior chamber, posterior chamber. It's just little, like even my saliva is bigger than that, right? You're parroting that. So why do we need to spend a slide talking about it? It's because this is also very the major cause. It's very clinical relevant because it's related to eye disease. What's the most important eye disease? I know myopia that we all have is important, but it's not like fatal. The important one is the glaucoma. Glaucoma is not fatal either, but glaucoma is one that could cause blindness and is not regenerative. Okay, there's no way that you can regenerate lost the neuron. So this is neuron degeneration. It's kind of like Alzheimer. Neural degeneration. Glaucoma is type of disease like that. Neural degeneration. So that's why, even though the aqueous humor may seem so tedious, that just in the little portion of the eye, the reason we need to know this is because this fluid, if it's get stuck, it will build the pressure. It has a pressure already. So this fluid has pressure already. It has to be higher than the vein in order to push this go to the vein. Basically, this is kind of like capillary, right? From the artery to the fluid back to the veins. So this fluid need to be smoothly flow, and this fluid contain pressure. This fluid build up the pressure about 15 mmHg. You don't need to, there, I won't quiz you on the number, but you get the idea that this there is certain pressure in our anterior chamber, right here, anterior chamber, right? And if this flow is got stuck, it will cause failure of aqueous humor drainage cause glaucoma. So if this fluid gets stuck, it will build up this pressure. This is the intraocular pressure. And that intraocular pressure will push the vitreous body, and that will block the blood supply into the retina. Again, we talk about this blood supply into the retina right here. That's this one right here. Because here is retina, blood supply to the retina. If this vitreous body gets squeezed by the intraocular pressure, it will squeeze this vessel and block the blood supply into the retina. And it will be very much like ischemia, lack of the blood supply into the retina. And that will kill neurons, kill retinal ganglion cells, and that will cause the blindness. And this is the glaucoma. So right here. So that is why we need to know it. We need to know what's the known. It could be, many other causes, but the one that commonly agreed is that the intraocular pressure increase. Besides, this is something that we can measure. We can measure the intraocular pressure, and we can use it as an index to see whether the patient have the higher chance to develop the glaucoma or not. Um, so that's why you need to know that the glaucoma. So the quiz question would be: glaucoma is related to what? Elevated IOP, intraocular pressure. And another question would be that intraocular pressure is caused by which fluid, which is caused by the aqueous humor located in the anterior chamber, etc. Right? Because um, in addition to, so that's why we need to know this aqueous humor, this flow, because that is very clinically relevant. So in addition to this aqueous humor, we also have another compartment containing fluid-like material. That is the vitreous. And that's so just don't get confused. When people talk about the intraocular, like something in the eye, intraocular pressure, don't think that pressure coming from the vitreous body, even though the vitreous body is so big. It seems like something that if something is wrong, it must be its fault. No, it's not. It's that aqueous fluid, aqueous humor, okay? That's this one here. That's these small things you should blame, okay, if the intraocular pressure increase. That's this one here. Vitreous body relatively is very it's transparent but relatively stable. Give me a second. All right. So that is the vitreous body. So vitreous body it's not entirely fluid. It's more like gelatin type structure material. So it's also transparent, so light can go through. And these material are wrapped, are like putting in the bag, in a plastic bag, and put it there, right? So that this vitreous body, this material is wrapped in a vitreous membrane. So this is vitreous membrane right here, vitreous membrane. When there is elevation of intraocular pressure, it will exert its pressure around this anterior chamber, and it will push it to the vitreous body, and then vitreous body will push it, squeeze into the blood vessel next to the retina, and to cause the blockage of the blood supply, and that will kill the neuron. This vitreous membrane is also called hyaloid membrane. All right, so that's that. And then if you sometimes may see that in the eye, that this vitreous body, you may also see that there is a canal connecting the lens with the optic nerve. Here's optic nerve. This region is called the optic disc. And you may see that what this canal is about. Is this something that can transport from the lens to the disc or something like that? All right. So this is in fact that this canal is called the hyaloid canal. Is actually no known function in adult. Then why do we have it? It's because that when the uh, infant development in the early stage, that we need to have a blood supply go through this canal to neutralize the lens and this anterior area. So it's something like this one here. This central artery will innervate into the through this canal to neutralize this region, and in order to make them grow. When the baby grows to a certain age, this artery will retract back to the optic nerve and leaving a empty canal. It's right here. So that's that. So basically, this canal is formed by the uh, vitreous membrane or the hyaloid membrane. And so basically, that's the membrane around the wrapped around this vitreous body, and in the center we have this canal also formed by this membrane. So that's that. And so following the cornea, the next thing that we need to know is cornea is right here. So we talk everything about the cornea already. We talk everything about this fluid right here. Very important to provide the intraocular pressure, and important to cause the glaucoma. Now this cornea is connected with the sclera. Now this sclera, as I mentioned before, is an extension of the dura mater. So this is that is important, that make the retina cells part, retina neurons part of the central nervous system, because we know that everything, so the way to distinguish the central versus peripheral nervous system is that it's a dura mater, right? So everything within the dura mater is considered the central nervous system. Everything out of the dura mater is the peripheral nervous system. And because this dura mater extend into the retina, into the eye, so everything in the retina is considered as the central nervous system. And here is the here we look to the optic nerve. So here is cornea, sorry, this is the sclera, this is dura mater. When it reaches to the optic nerve, it's called the dura mater. Then this is the dura mater. Sorry, the dura mater is part of this optic nerve sheath. So, but I want to talk about this dura mater. Uh, so I want to give you a little bit like connection between the brain and the eye. So you know this one already. This is like the first thing, like neuroanatomy, you will learn that the structure of these meninges, right? So underneath our skull, we have these meninge layers. This meninge layer, including the outer portion underneath the bone, is the dura mater. So this is the exact same dura mater extend into the eye right here, optic nerve, dura mater. And underneath that, we have the arachnoid layer. Underneath that, we have the subarachnoid space. So this is region we have the cerebral spinal fluid. We also have the blood supply, blood vessels circulating in this area. And underneath that, we have the pia mater. So this is the very last layer if you do the dissection, right? And you peel this open, you see the brain. So that's that. And showing here is that this is the subarachnoid space. Underneath this arachnoid, we have this cerebrospinal fluid. This fluid circulating in the brain to the spinal cord, as well as has the connection into the eye. So that's that. All right, so, and that lead to something that's also very important, that anything happens in the brain can cause a direct effects into the eye. One known example is that intracranial pressure. So intracranial pressure can happen to the brain for several reasons. For example, when there is leakage in the brain, hemorrhage, then that blood accumulate in the brain will provide extra mass, and that will squeeze these ventricles in the brain and squeeze this fluid, causing the intracranial pressure increase, causing intracranial hypertension. Or it could be the tumor in the brain, right? Extra mass in the brain will make the intracranial pressure increase. When it happens, it's not only cause you a pressure increase in the brain, in the head, it will also affect the eye. So that is what's going on right here. So this is the subarachnoid space. It's part of the optic nerve uh, sheath right here, durameter, right? So that's right here. I think we talked about this one. Did we? I think, oh, we missed this side. Okay. So this is the same material from the meninge that we see this sheet of optic nerve. This should be the durameter, right? This should be the durameter. Give me a second. All right, so this is the durameter. So durameter extend into the optic nerve. This is the arachnoid. This is underneath of the arachnoid. So that is the subarachnoid space. So usually that in normal optic nerve, this is too far away from the subarachnoid and brain. So there will be less, very little, probably no detectable cerebrospinal fluid flow down here. This is pyometer, so pyometer here. So you probably don't see a lot here. However, when there is increase of intracranial pressure, that fluid will be squeezed into the sheath of the optic nerve, and that will fill into the subarachnoid space in the optic nerve. And then that you will see that this will fill with it. And now with this flow, with this fluid, extra fluid in the optic nerve, surrounding the optic nerve, it will provide pressure to squeeze the optic nerve and eventually push the pressure to squeeze this central artery or central vein. And then it will cause the uh, damage into this area, and that will cause the swelling of this optic nerve, the head of optic nerve, including the optic nerve disc. And when we do a fundus image, that's basically put a camera very close into the eye, see through the pupil, see the back of the eye. In the normal one, we see this is the optic nerve. You don't really need to be an ophthalmologist to know this is the optic nerve disc, because you can see that blood going out of it. This is central artery, so this is the optic nerve. All right. And you will see that if, and here is the very a little bit dark area, that is the high density of the photoreceptor. So here is the fovea, that is the center of the eye. Now this optic nerve, if there is increase of intracranial pressure, not intraocular pressure though, intracranial pressure, that will push it to cause a swelling, and you will see it right here. And this is condition called the uh, papilledema, papilledema, papilledema. So basically, it's a swelling of this optic nerve head or optic disc. So that's that. All right. So I hope that you get the idea that eye and the brain are very highly correlated, very related. And one thing that you must know is that the damage in the retina is a type of central nerve degeneration, central nerve damage. All right. Now we have just summarized that here we have known that almost like everything anatomy, different components in the eye. One thing that we also I want to kind of like touch is that, and because there are several transitions from the sclera to the cornea, and from different transitions, there are two major transition tissue junctions in the eye. One is the ora uh, serrata. This is the region transit between the neurons in the retina with the muscle, the ciliary body. Uh, and so between these, so we can look at this one here, for example, that you see that here is a shadow area. So that is the aura of serrata. That distinguish that's the boundary between here. This is the retina. You know that this blue part, the retina, is the nerve. Okay, this has a lot of nerves, layers of nerves, and it stop here with the connection. The junction is to connect with the ciliary body, um, and underneath that we have the choroid, so blood supply basically continue with this one here. So that's the aura of serrata, aura serrata. And the other one is the limbus. The limbus is the junction between the cornea and the sclera. So that is, so this is cornea, this is the sclera. It doesn't say here, but right very near the uh, this canal of Sklim, right? So it's right here. This is the junction. Here is transparent, sorry, transparent cornea, and this is opaque sclera. And the junction here is called the limbus. So that's that. It could be an easy quiz question, right? What's the limbus is a junction of what and what, right? Or oral serrata is a junction between what and what, right? So that's that. All right, so that is everything like anatomy, like an element of the eye. All right, we know everything now. Good. Now let's talk about the function of the eye. The very first important function of the eye is to see. In order to see, we need to have a good projection into the eye. And that means that we need to have a good adjustment of the lens thickness. This process is called the accommodation. So here is another quiz question. What is accommodation? It's to adjust lens in order to see clear in the retina, right? So that's that. Now, you may ask, how do we conduct it? How is our body do this amazing work? How do our brains, our eyes know that this project is not well? Then you may say that, hey, eyes, I don't see well, it's blurring, and do something. This is not even controlled by your voluntary. When you see things, it's already clear in your eye. Then why is this happening? How does this accommodation reflects cause in your body? I will talk about this one here, but very quickly that accommodation is basically here. This is a lens. It could be thin. When it's thin, it see the further object because when it's thin, it doesn't bend it too much. When it's thick, it can bend it more. So when the object is further away, we don't need to make it thick. We can make it thin. And so it doesn't need to bend much, just a little bit. It will project perfectly in your retina. When, when you need to see something near, we will make it thick. The way to make it thick is that we loosen this tendon. Remember the name of this tendon? Zonus, right? Uh, so we lose it, and then this lens will be kind of like bounce it back to its thickness. Then we will bend this light more in order to get a good projection. So that's that. So that's the accommodation. The thinner one to see a further object, the thicker lens to see a near object. All right, we have that. All right, how do our brain do it? We basically will get an image first. The imaging will get projected into the retina, sent through the, right here, sent through this optic nerve. Optic nerve is a cranial nerve too. This is a sensory input. And then the optic nerve will project into the brain. Into the brain. And in the brain, this is the area 17. Area 17 is the primary visual cortex. So this is the region that we earlier talked about the primary somatic sensory cortex right here, 3 and 4. Um, sorry, I think that's 1 here. Yeah. And here is the yeah. So um, 3 is the primary somatic sensory cortex right here. Sometimes it may also include 1 or 2 right here as related primary somatic sensory cortex. Okay, so 3 is the major one right here. All right, so the visual signal, the primary visual cortex is located in the area 17. This is also called the V1, the primary one. This is also called a striate cortex, or V1. So that's the major one. That's the region that you project everything you see into the brain. Now, when you see it, you need extra associated cortex area to analyze the image. The one used to conduct the accommodation is located in area 19. This is 1918 is part of the extrastriate cortex. This includes visual 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. So the visual cortex, the overall is pretty big, okay? I think probably the largest the sensory cortex in the brain. Okay, now these area 19, when you see it, you probably feel blurring. Send signal to the 19. 19 will then send signal into the Edinger-Whitford nucleus right here, and the 2 send signal into the ganglion muscle, sorry, to the ciliary muscle to conduct accommodation. So that's that. Even though you don't feel, you have to see a blurred version first. The reality is that the imaging project into the cortex processed by 19 sent into the nerve, do the accommodation, and then you get a good projection. So right here. So this is the accommodation reflex. Uh, Whenever you see anything reflex, something that you need to keep in mind that what's the important thing about a reflex is the input, center, and output. So that's that. Here, the input is the visual system. The pathway of the input is cranial nerve to the optic nerve. The center is in the area 19. Work with the Edinger with full nucleus. The output is the oculomotor nerve, the cranial nerve 3, to conduct a function called the accommodation. All right, so that's that. All right, so you know that this is a very quick reflex. You can imagine that this process very fast because we see clear things very naturally. We never thought that it has a blur version in the brain first. Then we have the accommodation. So, and this capability of the accommodation right here. So this is the accommodation. The the capability of this accommodation decreased with age. So here you can see that the range of that accommodation is larger when people are younger, like you guys. You have very good accommodation, and also your near vision is very near, so you can see something very near. Okay, and when people getting older, that range getting smaller. Besides, their near points become further away. They cannot see very clear when the object is very near in the older person. I'm about to reach that. Okay, my age is right here, 15. 50. I know that I cannot. I need to take off my glasses when I see something very clear, very near. So that's that. This accommodation is age dependent. The decrease is age dependent. Another thing is that this affects near vision. Why is that? Because near vision require work. Why is that? Why is near vision require work? So here is a thin lens is the unaccommodated. This is a thick lens. This is accommodated. The thin lens is one to see a further object. The thick lens is one to see a near object. And is this one require work, require accommodation. And with the age, these capability become affected. This is less affected. Now, why is this one require work? I thought that this one is the loose of the tendon, and it seems like this one is the one doesn't require work. And why is this one require work instead? It's because that the control of the lens is not this tendon, it's the muscle connecting with the tendon. And this muscle is a ciliary muscle. This muscle is very much like vessel smooth muscle. It's circular. So the way it does is that when they contract, they cause vessel constriction. They make the diameter become smaller. So when it work, it will cause vessel constriction. So it will make this rod become smaller, getting closer to the center. It will loosen up this tendon. So that's why that this near vision, making the lens thicker, is the one that require work, require force. And so that capability decrease over age. So that's this one here. All right, so that's that. So we know it now. And we know this is the area of the primary visual cortex. 17, 19 is one, participate the accommodation. Now, if the person cannot get good accommodation, then it's cause disorders, right? And there are two major types of this disorder. They are the myopia, that is commonly seen as you guys, as me, have myopia or hyperopia. So these two are two like a good example about refractory diseases that cannot get good projection in focus in the retina. So this is a normal one, normal vision. You can get a good projection. For the myopia, that is one that's the projection is too early. So it could be that our eyeball is too elongated in a way. So we cannot get good projection. To fix it, we can wear a contact lens, the uh, concave lens, to adjust the uh, refractory, and then we can get good projection. Another one is the hyperopia, that the projection is too further away. So we can correct that with the convex lens to correct it. So that's that. All right, now we have the imaging in the retina. Then the next question is that how does the retina conduct the signal? All right, so here is the retina layer. This is this is actually a circuit. That's why the retina, the visual sensory organ, is so complicated. It's more complicated than the regular one. It's not just one sensory. There are several cells work together to get a good imaging in the beginning. All right, so this is the retina layer. Retina has multiple layers, has 7 layers. These layers are separated in a way that is the nucleus layer, is the process layer, etc. So from the back, so here is the light going here, lights going here. This is the back of the eye, so it's right here. If we're looking at this one here, here is the sclera. This is the choroid, and this is retina, right? And so from the back up, from the back up, we have the retina pigment epithelium cells or layer right here. And this one is the epithelium cell. This one doesn't really participate in the signal of vision. All right, so this one usually is not counting, doesn't count as part of the retina layer. All right, so here is the photoreceptor. So photoreceptor is one to detect the photon, and then the photoreceptor the cell, and the major signal transduction is from the photoreceptor. This is the cell body, this is the axon, to the bipolar, and the bipolar transduce signal into the retinal ganglia cells. So that's the major pathway. With this major pathway, these three cells, we have three nuclear layer. We have this outer photoreceptor, outer segment layer. Then here is nuclear, outer nuclear. This is the inner nuclear, and the between is the outer plexiform layer. That's the processes and the synapses with the bipolar. Here is the inner plexiform layer between the bipolar and retinal ganglia cell. This is the ganglia cell layer. So we have three nuclear layer representing the three major neuronal cells, from the photoreceptor to the bipolar cell to the ganglion cells. We have uh, two, uh, actually, four non-nucleus layer, including the outer segment layer, outer plexiform, inner plexiform, and the nerve fiber layer. This nerve fiber layer are the axon of the retinal ganglia cells. So that is, so in summary, that in the retina, we have three nuclear layer and four non-nuclear layer. So we have the inner nuclear layer, this new layer including the photoreceptor, the outer nuclear layer including the bipolar. In this region, we also have some interneuron, the horizontal cells, and the amacrine cells, nuclear. We also have a ganglion cell layer. This one includes the ganglion cells. We have some processes from this non-nuclear layer, inner perexiform, outer perexiform. We have the very outer portion, outer segment layer of the photoreceptor, and we have the nerve fiber layer. So that's that. So that's the 7 major layers in the retina, and 5, including the 5 types of cells. 3 are the signal transduction, photoreceptor, bipolar ganglion, 2 interneuron, the horizontal and amacrine cells. So that's that. These interneuron are the inhibitory interneurons. So that's that. So the major circuits formed by these layers, the major one is the transduction from the photoreceptor. The light shines on the photoreceptor, transduce the photon signal into the action potential, causing it release neurotransmitter into the bipolar cells. Then the bipolar cells send signal into the ganglion cells. Then the ganglion cells form the axons, form the optic nerve. Then this optic nerve sends signal into the brain. So today we are going to talk about this retinal portion. Next day we will talk about the pathway into the brain. So that's that. So that's the major pathway. A quick question could be that the sequence of these 3 cells, photoreceptor to the bipolar to the ganglion cells, you should know that the signal is from the photoreceptor to the bipolar and from the bipolar to the ganglion cells. So that's that. All right. So first thing first, photoreceptor. This photoreceptor has 2 types. One is called rods, the other one is called cones. 2 major types, but we have 3 cones. Rods is the one that we have more rods, a lot more. We have little cones. Cones is one that's color sensitive. Rods are the photon sensitive. it doesn't sensitive to the color, but it's sensitive to the light. We have a lot more rods, but to distinguish color, we have counts. We have little more, we have less counts. The one we have are all located in the center of the eye. All right, center of the eye in the macular region, and the center of the sensor is called the fovea. So that's that. And because the rods are more and not in the center, it's more in the peripheral. So rods are sensitive to the light, sensitive to the peripheral vision. They are also sensitive to the night vision because they are photon sensitive. They are not color sensitive. So during night, we rely on the rods to see it, to see the object. We cannot see clear in the night because these are more peripheral. It's not in the center. It's not the best focused area. These also rods are also good at motion detection. So if you want to move, uh, if the moving is in the peripheral of the visual field, it will be more easy. It will be easier to be detected because that's projected into the rods. All right. So here is the table summarize the difference between rods and the cones. Rods are not color sensitive. It's more than cones. Cones are less, but cones are more located in the center of the retina. It's called the macula. The center of the center is the fovea. And rods are more is good at the night vision because they are photon sensitive. Cone is good at the day vision because they are good at seeing the color. Uh, Cones has higher resolution, even though rod is more sensitive, but it's not good at spatial distinguish. So the spatial resolution is lower. The way we can think about it is that, say we have this many of the rods, they are all very sensitive, but all this will project into these two bipolar and retinal ganglion cells. So that is coming here, 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 here are all projected in the same one. So we don't very good at distinguish which one coming in because in the end they are pulled together. However, they are very light sensitive, but not spatially, but not with the good spatial resolution. The center one provide a higher acuity that we can distinguish things better because each one, even though the sensitivity is less, but each one got processed individually, bipolar ganglion cells, so we can distinguish the signal from here to here to here. So the acuity is better in the with the cones in the center of the retina, center portion of the retina. Rods is not sensitive to the wavelength of the light, so it's only has only one type of uh, the photo sensor in a way that is called the rhodopsin. The cones are sensitive to color. They are sensitive to three type of the wavelengths. So it has three type of the rhodopsin. So it basically is they are different rhodopsin right here. Rhodopsin, opsin, sorry, different opsin, different opsin. In the rods, it's rhodopsin. In the cones, it's photopsin. And opsin is the transmembrane protein to transduce photon into the electric signal. So that's that. We have three types in the cones. Each one is sensitive to different wavelengths. And we have more rods than cones. All these cones are located in the highly condensed in the macula. So here is the macula right here. So this is the fovea. this portion is the macula. If you look in the fovea, is center of the center light project right here. This fovea is thinner because it will make the allow light to go penetrate better. If you look into the photoreceptor, you see different color, red, green, blue, um, different cones right here. Only if it's reached to the peripheral, you start to see the rods right here. So that's that. The imaging is sharpest located in the fovea. This one has the best acuity. The retina is thinner in the fovea as well. Cones is not good in the night. So this one is the night blind spot. That this is not very good at photon. It's good at color. So during the night, the vision down here is not well. So, but it can be detected by the cones, by the rods. So we can still see in the night at night. This one just showing you the location of the macula. So here, this region is the macula. So, and the center, this is center of the retina. The projection in down here, and the center of the center is the fovea. High resolution, good at color image. So that's that. And here is the retina axon project into the optic nerve. You must know that this optic nerve doesn't have the photoreceptor. So light penetrate to it, it doesn't get detected. So this is a blind spot that we cannot see. When there is a visual field, there will be a spot that's not going to generate a representative image in your retina, and that is in the optic nerve head or optic nerve disc. Optic nerve head, optic nerve disc right here. So this is also called a blind spot that you don't generate a visual map in the retina. This region doesn't have a representative signal right here. We don't really, if you just using one eye and circling around your eye, you probably can find a blind spot. And that is this region. That is the region that project into the optic nerve head or optic nerve disc. Optic disc. But we actually don't, if we have both eye, because when we have both eye, even though that blind spot doesn't really have visual representation in the red in one eye, but it has on the other eye. So it basically got covered by the other eye. So binocular vision, we don't really have that issue of the blind spot. So that's that. All right, so that is the retina layer. Now, the type of the photoreceptor, as we mentioned, that there are two major type, rod and cones. Rods and cones are the one to convert the photon into the electric signal. So how does it work? So basically this is an example of the rods and this is example of the cones. Each cell has three segments. We have the outer segment. In the rods, we have the discs. This basically is multiple membrane, right? Extra membrane right here, right? So this one contains, if we look at down here, this is one that provide the membrane and the anchor with the membrane protein. This little blue thing is a transmembrane protein. This is either the rhodopsin in the rods or photopsin in the cones. So this is the opsin. This opsin is a transmembrane protein that can convert the photon into the electric signal. All right, so it's right here. So the outer segments have these disks, and then in the inner segment, we have a lot of mitochondria. This one provides the energy of the cell. Then we have the nucleus. Then we have the axon. So when light shines on it, it will convert it into the membrane potential change, then trigger the photoreceptor, and at the end of the axon, they release glutamate. So that's here, glutamate. This one is not that important. It's not even showing here. So I will delete this one. This is not that important. All right, so that's that. So that's the only thing you need to know, that outer segment disk, inner segment, including mitochondria, and nucleus. Important thing is the transmitter is the glutamate. So this is probably the most important part right here, glutamate. All right. So we have it. We have the photoreceptor. This photoreceptor contains different opsin. In the count, it's called the rhodopsin. Rhodopsin because the color is rose color. So that's rhodopsin. Photopsin is the one that's in the counts. It has three types. Long wavelengths. So this one detect the red color. Middle wavelengths detect the green color. Short wavelengths detect the blue color. So we have three type of opsin, three type of photopsin in the counts. So here is the example of the sensitivity to the wavelengths from different opsins. This is rods. It's sensitivity quite wide. And here it's short one sensitive to blue, middle one sensitive to the green, long one sensitive to the red. And for a normal person, we can very good at distinguish all these three color. And look at this one. If there is any losses or defects in these options, the person will have color blindness. So if you can see this right here, 7, you probably be okay. You don't have the color blindness. If you do, then probably either loss of one of these options. All right, now we have that. In the next one is that how are these photoreceptor works? The way it does is that this is the photoreceptor. One thing you need to know, so this is the photoreceptor. And here is important membrane proteins. So for example, that we have this sodium potassium pump that is very typical in all cells. We also have the potassium leakage channel. It's also very typical in all cells. And so this pump will make the membrane potential, will pump 2 potassium in, 3 sodiums out, and the 2 potassium in will be leakage a little bit. So to make the maintenance a stable potassium amount in the cell. So with this one, this is very typical in all cells. With this one, we create a negative membrane potential, right? So that's a resting membrane potential that created by the sodium potassium ATPase. We also have accumulation of potassium in the cell. So that is typical. It's nothing new here. What's new with this photoreceptor is that it has this CAMP gated sodium channel. So this is a ligand gated sodium channel. cell contains a lot of cGMP. So these channel keep open. So when there's nothing happen in the dark, this channel open. Sodium coming in. Sodium coming in because inside is less sodium, inside is negative. With this positive charged sodium, it will flow in, diffuse in. When they diffuse in, they will make the memory potential to become positive, to become depolarized. So you need to know, very important, after learning the visual physiology, you need to know is that in the dark, your photoreceptor is activated. Without light, your photoreceptor is activated. You have the influx of the sodium channel, your memory potential is depolarized. So that's that. And with it, you continuously release the glutamate in the end. So that's that. Now, and this sodium channel coming, this sodium flow coming in is called the dark current. That's the current of this sodium ion channel flowing in. All right, so that's that, in the dark. Now, if there is a light, light will shine on this disk. And on the membrane of this disk, we have this opsin, for example, photopsin or rhodopsin, right? These opsins are the membrane proteins. It will activate an enzyme. This enzyme is called phosphodiesterase, or short for PDE. This phosphodiesterase will convert cGMP to GMP. So with light, light will reduce the amount of the cGMP. And with a less amount of cGMP, it will make this cGMP dependent sodium channel to close. Then there will be no sodium coming in. There will be a hyperpolarization. There will be a turn off of this photoreceptor. So what light does is to turn it off in a way. So that's that. So that's what the function of the light. This opsin is so it's right here. If you see this one, light shines on it. This is rhodopsin. This is in the disk, inducing a transducin. This is a G protein couple receptor. Convert the alpha beta gamma. This is G protein. Activate a PDE. Then this phosphodiesterase convert the cGMP to GMP, then it causes this channel to close, to be closes. So that's that. Now, this opsin is a transmembrane protein. The very important component in this transmembrane protein is a very important molecule called retinol. These retinol are embedded. So this seven-folded transmembrane protein is a typical opsin. It could be the rhodopsin or photopsin. The way it can be detected, it can be sensitive to the light is that it contains a molecule called the retinol. This retinol is a 11-cis retinol. So in this region is 11-cis. Light shines on it can make this 11-cis retinol to become a trans retinol, to become all trans retinol, cis trans. And then it will cause the morphological change, down chain reaction will be to activate this transducing this G protein couple receptor, then activate the PDE to convert cyclic GMP to GMP to close up the sodium channel. So that's that. So the major, the key player is this 11-cis retinol. One thing you need to know is that this 11-cis retinol, once it's do its work to become an all-trans retinol, it become useless. It cannot be photon sensitive anymore. So we need to replenish it. We need to find a way to provide this functional 11-cis retinol to the photoreceptor, to the photoreceptor again. And so it's very essential. And that's why that I want to go all the way down here is that's why that the good diet is important, because we need to replenish these 11-cis retinol by our diet. And this is a major derivative of the beta carotene. It's a type A, vitamin A, a type of vitamin A. And we can also get this from the fruit, right? The color vegetable, an important one is people commonly know is the carrot, right? So we need to get the food. And that's why that lack of these nutrients will cause blindness. It's not just color blindness, it's blindness because we don't have enough 11-cis retinol in the photoreceptor. There will be no way that we can detect light to get the retina to see the object. So that's that important. All right, so we know everything about the photoreceptor now. What else do we need to know? The next thing we need to know is that this is the photoreceptor, a very close friend with the photoreceptor is the one next to it. This is the retina pigment epithelium cells. So we kind of talk about it here. We thought that it's not that important. This is not right here. This is photoreceptor, outer segment. This is the pigment layer, retinal pigment layer. We thought it's not part of the nerve signal transduction. However, they are good friends with this photoreceptor. Why is that? Why is that? Because they are located right next to the photoreceptor. For that right here. So their function is to support their friends, to support the photoreceptor. All right, let's look at this retinal pigment layer, retinal pigment epithelium cells right here. These cells are pigmented, so they have pigment. And so their major function is to absorb light. And that's very important because we have this opening to let light shine through, right? And when light shines through, we want it to, sorry, where is it? Light shine through, get detected by this photoreceptor, and we don't want it to go further down because when it's go further down, it will cause, this light has energy, right? These are the electromagnetic waves, the energy, it will cause damage into our eye. So we don't want that. So here is the last protection. We have the pigment absorb, to absorb this light. So that's one function. That's one major function of the of the retinal pigment epithelium cells to absorb light to prevent the damage of the photooxidative effects to our tissue. In addition to that, it's also working to support the retina. They provide the nutrients because underneath this retinal pigment layer is the blood supply. So the nutrients will diffuse through this layer to provide the nutrients into the photoreceptor. It can also convert part of this transretinal into the 11th cis retinol. 11th cis retinol. Yeah. So we have this all transretinal. It can be converted back to the 11th cis, even though it's not like fully need. I mean, it's not like we cannot only rely on this. We also need to do that, but retinal pigment epithelium do part of this work. It can also conduct helping to regenerate the photoreceptor by eating it. Can you believe it? They help their friends by eating them. That sounds very weird, but we look into it. So because we to prevent the toxic effects accumulate in the photoreceptor, it's eating it, digesting it. All right, so let's look at all this. We know this one already. Transport nutrients ion into the retina right here. So here underneath this one is choroid layer, it has capillary. This is the epithelium cells. So substance can be diffused across to the retina, and also the metabolic waste products can be produced because in the retina there's no blood. Okay, just so you know that in the retinal layer, there's no blood. Blood's here and some blood's here. So it's in these two sides we have the capillary blood supply. Give me a second. I have my yeah. So sorry, I my son just walked in, so I need to take care of him a little bit. All right, I'm back. What else? What did we talk about? Yeah, so the retina, this is the blood. We have only two regions to supply, either from the choroid. This is from the and then also in the surface of this retina layer, right? So basically, that's earlier what we talked about. This could be here. This is central artery. This is the posterior ciliary artery. So that's these two. We also talk about right here, right in the very beginning, right here. This is central artery. This is the posterior ciliary artery. So that's that. This the back is the posterior ciliary. The surface is the central artery. All right. So that's that. And that is the function of the this one here. So to neutralize the retina, we need some from this in the back. It'll provided by the choroid artery from the central posterior artery, and then diffuse through the retinal pigment layer into the photoreceptor. So that's that one we know now. Now it can also replenish the lost 11 cis retinal. So here is imaging show you that this is light shines on the outer segment disc, and here is the light shines on it. Then 11 Cs become all trans. Now this all trans will then move, travel, transport with these chaperone proteins called IRBP, will then bring it into the retinal pigment layer right here. It will then convert these all trans to 11 Cs again, then convert it back using the same chaperone to bring these 11 Cs retina back to the retina. So retina then to the photoreceptor. Then this photoreceptor will have a replenished 11 Cs to use. So in addition to our diet, RPE provide part of this replenishment. In addition, these friends, close friends with the photoreceptor help this photoreceptor by eating them. This is called the process called disc shedding. So this is the outer segment, then this is outer segment, this is photoreceptor, right? This is the outer segment of the photoreceptor, this is the pigment epithelium. It will embed it, so it's right here, this is the epithelium cell pigment RPE layer. This photoreceptor outer segment kind of embedded in it. It will eat chunk of it. It will eat about 1/10 of it every day. Okay, and now the cell can regenerate. So it extend and got eaten, it got extend. So by this way that even though we don't regenerate the entire cell, but we do regenerate a portion of it. So this cell keep growing, keep extending, and a part of it got eaten by the retinal pigment layer, retinal pigment epithelium cells. So that's that. So the outer portion is got eaten by the retinal pigment. Let me double check on that one. Retinal pigment epithelium cells, and the cell continue to replenish it, generate this new opsin, form it to aid it back here. So that's how we regenerate the portion of it, and by eating, reducing it by the epithelium cell to eat part of it. So that's pretty cool, right? So that's that. All right, so that is the photoreceptor. So this is the photoreceptor overall. That's the work, the activity of the photoreceptor is that light, when there is no light, there is a dark current, sodium coming in. When there, and it will cause the membrane potential to become depolarized. When there is light shines on it, cause the cGMP to GMP. It will close up this channel. It will prevent the influx of sodium. It will make it hyperpolarized. When it's hyperpolarized, it will not produce the neurotransmitter because it's hyperpolarized. The neurotransmitter, the glutamate release is reduced. So you need to keep this in mind. It's kind of opposite what we have seen in other sensory system. In the photoreceptor, when there is a stimulus, the release of glutamate is reduced. When there is no light, the glutamate release from the photoreceptor increase is there. Okay, so that's that. All right, now the next step of this photoreceptor is the bipolar cell. So here is the bipolar cell, the one next to the photoreceptor. The bipolar cell has the glutamate receptor. Now, there are two types of the bipolar cell. There are, one is called on bipolar cell, the other is called off bipolar cell. Usually these two types are kind of like laying one next to the other. So we have the on bipolar, off bipolar, and the on bipolar is that when there is light, it's on. The off bipolar is that when there is no light, it's on. So that's that. All right. So that's that. The on means there's light, there's on. All right. So these bipolar carry different type of the glutamate receptor. The on bipolar, the glutamate receptor will make it hyperpolarized. The off bipolar, the glutamate receptor will cause it depolarized. So let's use this picture. It's easier to understand through this picture. So we have two types of the bipolar. Now, there are two types of bipolar, different kind of glutamate receptor. Earlier, we talked about this glutamate receptor. We talked about that in the brain, glutamate is a major excitatory neurotransmitter. It causes the cell get excited. There are two types of receptor, NMDA and AMPA receptor. So we all know that. Here we learned that there are additional type, and these two types become more all important. The other type is the metabotropic receptor. NMDA and AMPA are all ionotropic. They open up ion channel. So the on bipolar, it carry a glutamate metabotropic receptor. So when it's dark, there is glutamate, a lot of glutamate released from the photoreceptor. From the photoreceptor, this glutamate binds on it, so activate it. It will cause a G protein activate, G protein to close up a cation channel. So this could be a sodium channel. So in the light, in the dark, glutamate binds on it. This cell is not activated because it closes up this ion channel. Now, when there is light, there is no glutamate to bind on it. Then this channel is not blocked. So this is a G protein dependent ion channel. And so there's when there's light, there is no glutamate. This G protein receptor is not activated. Then this channel keep open. Ion, it allow the sodiums going in to cause it activated. That's why it's on. When there is light, it's on. It's depolarized. Positive charge ion going in. That's on bipolar. We also have the off bipolar, just located next to it. So with this off bipolar, it turns on when there is no light. So when there is no light in the dark, the photoreceptor continuously release the glutamate. Glutamate binds on the AMPA receptor, sodium coming in. So when there's no light, it's on. However, when there is light will cause the photoreceptor to reduce the release of the glutamate. Then glutamate leaves, AMPA is closed, there will be no positive charge ion to flow in, this memory potential will become depolarized, hyperpolarized. So when there is no light, when there is no light, when there is no light, there will be glutamate binds. There will be glutamate binds it. Positive charge ion is polarized. So light, no light, it will be on. When there is light, it will be off. So that's that. So that's the off bipolar and the on bipolar. Two type. These two types are located next to each other. So here is the situation that when we see things, when we visualize things, there will be some portion there is light. When there is some portion is dark. Our human beings are very good at detecting the contrast, detecting the age. It's because that we have this on bipolar and off bipolar located right next to each other. Say this is off bipolar, this is on bipolar. If a photoreceptor happens to be in the location, this receptive field is located in the dark area, then it will cause this off bipolar to turn on, to trigger an off center, off bipolar. Off is in the center, ganglion cell to get excited. However, in the same time, we have another photoreceptor down here, it's right here. It detects the light. And this one will turn on an on bipolar. It will trigger an on centered ganglion cells to get excited. So during that boundary, we have the on bipolar and the off bipolar are working together. And one thing that from here you need to have in mind is that no matter whether you are seeing things or not seeing things, part of your bipolar cell is excited. If you have light shine to it, the on bipolar is on. And the ganglion cell right next to the on bipolar will send signal to the brain. If there is no light to it, this off bipolar is on. This off bipolar will send signal into the retinal ganglion cell and still send signal into the brain. So your brain see things either way, both way. Your brain see the light. Your brain also receives signal during the dark. And earlier we talked about this adaptation, right? So in the light, it's trigger it and it activate it, and we get adapt to it. In the dark, it's the same thing. It triggers it, and we get adapt to it, and we don't respond to it. And so that contrast between light and the dark, or when we see things that we see kind of juggling our retina between light and dark, provide a better vision that we can, by using these two type of photoreceptor, we can keep our stimulation going on and to be able to visualize things better. So that's the basic idea is that in terms of the, yeah. So in terms of the exam, you need to know, what you need to know is that the bipolar, we learn about the photoreceptor. Photoreceptor, we have different opsin. We have the rhodopsin and the photopsin. We have the rods. We have three types of the counts. So that's the photoreceptor. Bipolar, we have two types. Two types carry different type of the glutamate receptor. And one is the metabotropic that will, glutamates will make it hyperpolarized, and right here, glutamates will make it hyperpolarized, and we also have an anisotropy receptor, the AMPA receptor, in the off bipolar. So that's that. All right then. So then we basically finish it. In addition to these three major cells to transduce the light signal into the brain to provide a vision, we also have two interneurons, two groups of interneurons. One is the horizontal cells. These horizontal cells synapse with the photoreceptor. We also have the amacrine cells to synapse with the ganglion cells. So this horizontal cell synapse, these are GABAergic inhibitory interneurons. Can sharpening the edge of the vision. So that, for example, that if say we have a vision, a light, say a light, right? A light shining through it. When light shining through it, it will cause the major center photoreceptor to be the one get excited, but it also has like signal to trigger the neighboring one. And the horizontal cells can be used to inhibit these two in order to get the vision become better precision, sharpening the edge of the imaging. So something like that. And we also have the amacrine cells to synapses with the ganglion cells. This one responsible for about 70% input to the retinal ganglion cells, and bipolar cells responsible for the other 30%. So that's that. That's the eye. And let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, that's very, very complicated organ. And I hope that at least we get understanding about these different elements in the eye and also the visual function of the eye. All right.